Okay, we're going to pick up today where we left off yesterday. The only comments I got from Google Classroom or emailed to me were people that had issues finding their files on the SD cards. Don't know what to tell you other than I warned you 2 days ago in class to remember what SD card you used, and you would find it. You may have to look through different folders, right? Hold on, I'll get one that might have hopefully more folders than that one I did yesterday to give you an example. But you just have to look through them and figure out whether or not they're yours or somebody else's. Click through there, find yours. If you, so I'm assuming probably 95% of the people that have their footage by now. If it was on a card, SD card, that you for sure know that was the one, then I don't know what to tell you, dude. You didn't record. I'm not sure. You guys definitely do not need to be deleting other people's footage off of SD cards. We can deal with that later to save room or whatever. But if you're jacking with other people's stuff, then we may find you another class to be in. But so I think if you don't have your footage now, you weren't able to find it yesterday or today, you start with whatever SD card you think it might be on, look through it, you and your partner, and then you just start looking at every other card that it might be or that is in there, because it's somewhere. It's somewhere, unless somebody deleted it, which is highly unlikely. There's metadata on here to tell when things were deleted, and we can tell who had the computer open at that time, so we can find out who it is if that's a problem. But I really don't think it's deleted. I just think you are unable to find it. Long story short, let's move on. Get your footage in, watch yesterday's video, and get caught up. Otherwise, everybody else that is ready. Okay, so when you open up Premiere after working on a project, you'll see a list of your previous projects. These two different class schedules were one that I screwed up yesterday and restarted. So this is the one on the top, should be the most recent one that you had. And you're going to do a couple of different things, not too in depth today, but you'll be able to manipulate this a little bit. So again, I've got Emmeline's footage down here, and they did not leave a whole lot of room on either side. I didn't look at her partners, but I mean, there's like a second on each side. So as far as cutting, she doesn't need to cut a whole lot. Okay. So if it's the case where a lot of you are probably you're going to need the razor tool, and you've got an extra 2 or 3 seconds of space in here, I can use my arrow key to go back one frame at a time. If I double click this over here, I can see my waveforms, so I can tell she starts talking right there. So if I wanted to cut it exactly, which I do not want you to do, I would cut it there. Using my arrow key. As soon as she got done there. So this is what most of you probably need to do. I don't want you to cut it this tight. I'm just using this as an example. Like I said, Emmeline probably doesn't need to delete any of these. And then right click and ripple delete that extra space that you have. Okay. You need to leave some, because what you're going to do first here is going to involve some transitions. from one clip to the next, and you need to have space for it to work. So I'm going to Command Z back to before where I cut this out. Okay, so your effects, depending on how your display is set up, you may or may not see an effects tab. I think in the editing, if I go to window works, this what you see is your workspace, right? Your workspace consists of this tab over here that has audio clip mixer, which I absolutely never use, so I'm going to close that. Metadata I never use. Effect controls I always use. Source no clip. Hold on. If I select that, the source no clip, I don't even use that. By the way, I've been playing these, and I don't think I ever told you yesterday that the space bar is the play button. You can also, of course, use that play button there. Graphics template, media browser. Some tutorials are going to tell you to use these things. I don't. So if you want to, once you get used to what tools you normally use, you'll want to save it, right? You'll want to save your workspace. So window workspaces. This doesn't have a couple of mine that I have saved because this is a different computer, but you can save as a new workspace once you get these tabs or whatever, however you want to, and it will open the same way every time. But I need you to get used to some of these things just before you start doing things that you're going to regret. Okay, so let's go to the effects tab, which I still have not found. There it is right there. So many tabs open down here that I never used. Effects. I'm going to go to, you will not have Lumetri presets or presets like this. I don't think, because I've downloaded those. Everyone should have audio effects, audio transitions, video effects, and video transitions. We're going to use video transitions today. And I'm going to let you experiment and try whichever one that you want to do. Okay. We'll start out simple with the dissolve. Additive, cross, all these are fairly self-explanatory, but you're not going to know what they do until you pick up that effect and drop it on a clip. Okay. Some clips in transitions need to be dropped in between two clips. Now, video effects is a whole different story. All of these can be dropped onto the clip itself, and we'll go over a lot of those later. But right now, we're just going to work with video transitions, and some of them will work, some of them won't, depending on a lot of different variables that I'm not going to go into right now. Some of them take a little more time for the computer to actually do them because it's pretty intensive. But most of these are pretty simple. So I'm dragging this in, and you'll see as soon as I get close, it looks like it's going to end up on the very front part of that second clip. If I zoom in here, additive dissolve. Now, when I dropped it, I'm going to Command Z. When I dropped it, it wouldn't let me put it on the end of this clip. It wouldn't let me put it in the middle, which I'll show you one later. It only let me put it at the beginning of this one. I'll show you what it does. Okay, it combines footage from the last clip and this clip, and there's a bright, shiny light. Okay, that's your additive dissolve. You can make this last longer by coming over here to this effect and dragging it out. Some of them you can make longer. This one you can only make shorter. But all of them are different. Cross dissolve. You see I'm going to click this right here. Additive dissolve. And hit my delete key and get rid of that. Cross dissolve is the default. Every time when you first start Premiere, it's just the most common one, and it's not doing it. Normally you can put this in between two clips. I'm not exactly sure why it's not letting me, but I can hopefully change that. I'm going to go click cross dissolve. I'm going to go to effect controls. Make sure I have the cross dissolve selected. Okay. And it tells me up here the alignment is the start at cut. So it starts at the cut. I can change it to center at cut or end at cut. So if I end it, you see all these lines that show up. That's obviously not going to work very well. If I center it at cut, it's telling me beforehand it's not going to work like I think it should. But as you can tell, it is. So all of these are all going to be a little different depending on which one you do. Now, this may be because it's between the first and second clip. I'm not sure, because I can almost guarantee you if I come down here to this between the second and third clips, if I put cross dissolve out here, it would let me drop it right in the middle of both of them. So in sufficient media, this transition will contain repeated frames. Just click OK. That just means it's going to have to make stuff up. I'm not, I can't explain it right now, or I'm not going to explain it right now. It's just too much just to be able to get this cross dissolve in. So experiment, right? All these dissolves, immersive video, this VR stuff, I wouldn't mess with that unless you've got a lot of time. Page peel, these are typical that you normally see. If I drop this page peel here, all these say insufficient media. We'll explain all that later, but it still works. Okay. Slide wipes, all these different ones. So experiment with them and figure out whether or not you want them between, before, after, so on and so forth. That's your first job today, is to get some transitions in between each clip. When I just want to fade, oh, nope, I'm not going to go there. Never mind. What else I want you to do is to start adding text, okay? So in order to add text to this, it's a graphic basically. I'm going to use the text tool. The shortcut, as you can see there in parentheses, is T. So if I just hit T on my keyboard, I would have selected the text tool, and I can type up here 0 hour cross country. And then from there, Premiere is not the best word editor in the world, but it does a decent job. Over in Effect Controls, if you don't see Effect Controls, or I didn't mention earlier, if you could not find effects, you need to come up to the top where it says Window and make sure the Effects tab is checked. Okay, if it's checked, it's somewhere around here, right? Same with the Effect Controls right here. So they may be hidden. Oh my goodness. I deleted it enough so that I know what I can do. I can shrink this. So if there's more than one in here, I can click those double arrows and I can jump to that. But I've got it spread out enough so that it doesn't affect it. Okay, so I typed in 0 hour cross country, and you can see it created a graphic for me, okay? And that graphic will last for that amount of time. So I can move it. I can put it anywhere I want to. As soon as it gets to that graphic, it will display it on the screen, obviously. If I want to mess with the text. If I want to edit it, what I can do in Effect Controls is come up to where, as long as I have this selected, I can come over here and twirl down where it says text. And here is where you can mess with the different fonts, font size, color. Okay, depending on where I am, if white doesn't work, I can change the color of it. You can scroll down this color wheel, pick whatever color you want. I can also add a stroke to it. You'll know probably what a stroke is. It's just outside the letters, and I missed it, so you couldn't tell. It's a pretty heavy stroke. You can change the how heavy it is by adjusting that. You can also add a background to it. So if I wanted to add a white background, I would come down here, click OK. That way you can see it pretty clearly. When it's selected under the Move tool, that's another thing I need to tell y'all. So when y'all are typing in here and you have a period and you want to get off of the, or not a period or whatever, you're done here and you want to get off of typing here, I can't go to my Move tool, which is the shortcut is V, which I use all the time. I can't just use my shortcut V because it's still typing. Okay, so you have to select a different tool for that to be permanent. I can select where it's situated in the middle, up top. There's the middle. That's the middle of that. That's the middle of that, which is not going to do for me if I go to the top. You can also click and drag the X and Y values with vector motion. Rotation. Oh my gosh, there's so much we'll show you. You can change where they are situated there, but just mess around, try and figure out different fonts that you want. It doesn't matter to me. Just make sure you have text over each clip. You can make it shorter or longer. You could also add effects that we were talking about earlier. You could add effects to those. Video effects. Not video effects, video transitions. I'm going to cross dissolve that so that will fade out. So anyway, experiment. I want different transitions between each clip, and I need every clip to have text on it so that I know so I can understand what you're saying, especially in a place like this, which is something that we're going to go over at some point. When you're looking at filming and you have to film at this location, you're going to have to wait till the air conditioner goes off. You're going to have to wait till construction's done, get the clip quickly, because you can't deal with bad audio. Once you get bad audio, you're pretty messed up at that point. But anyway, lots to learn. We'll go over a lot of that as we go along. A lot quieter here. She had to be real quiet because Cartwright's got her door open. So I'll show you at some point how to get the sound better. We got a lot to work on, but this is a good start. Transitions, text, save it, close it. We'll come back on Thursday, Friday, and export it out into a movie that we can put wherever we want to. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up on Google Classroom, and let me know.